Okay, let's work through a couple of Lichess's easier puzzles. So again, you can just go to Lichess, make your account, go to puzzles, and change the difficulty. So my rating is a little high, so these puzzles will generally not just be like one move puzzles. So let's see. This bishop is hanging. What did they just take? A pawn. Okay. So what's the material count? So we have 3 minor pieces each, all the majors. King position, roughly, yeah, our king is a little unsafe because of this pawn and the bishops. But why can't we just take this hanging piece? I mean, okay, look for checks, captures, and threats. Look for checks. I don't see any. There are no checks in the position. So what could they do? Look for their checks and captures and threats. They can't do that because our knight is holding that square. They can give this check, but then our bishop would just drop back and take the pawn. Yeah, I'm really not sure what the... I mean, they could take here. And... we would just take. And we're just up a bishop. That being said, their pieces are pretty close, but this bishop, this pawn holds... the bishop and the pawn hold the knight's two forward, most forward, aggressive moves. Knight coming here could be dangerous because there's some dark squared issues happening. But I really don't see why we can't just take this pawn, because I don't see a crazy attack for black. Because this knight also holds the dark squares. So we just do this, back up, and bring our queen, you know, over to help out with the defense. Cool. Yeah. So they're threatening to take our knight. So just take back. I mean, there's no good place to put our knight, because if we move our knight here, then we get mated, or I mean, pretty close to mate, right? They could queen. So I think we just take. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, that was a lot of overcalculation for an easier puzzle, but better safe than sorry. Okay, one more. Well, material count equal. Checks. They move up. Okay. Ooh, we could line up our rook here with the threat of causing some bad news to the queen, to the king up here. And because the king cannot escape to this square. And then our queen could go back behind and tickle them. Yeah, I think that's it. By doing this, obviously rook here would just lose a rook for no good reason. So yeah, I do think it's this. There are just too many weaknesses on the back rank. And now, yeah, the queen and rook on the back rank, the king right here, no good forward progress because our knight holds this square. Even this pawn holds this square. So like, the king here is limited only to the H file and 2 squares on the G file. And it's about to cause some bad news when these pieces come in. So I think that's the answer. Of course, look for checks that they might give. Yeah, I don't see any. Okay. Yep, makes sense. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, these are some... Wow, these are slightly more challenging problems than I expect, but whatever. Okay, let's do one more. What did they just take? A bishop. Okay. Okay, so we're down a bishop, right? Because we both have 2 rooks, both have a queen, both have knights. They have a bishop. Makes sense. They just took one. Okay. Look for checks. Check. Their knight takes our queen. We take back. They take our knight. And we resign because we're just down a lot of material. Okay. So why not just recapture? That seems like the most natural move. We're threatening to cause some bad news on this bishop because the rook is aligned with both the king and the queen. But they could just take like this. So takes. Is there a good follow-up? This pawn is soft because this knight and the rook are defending the pawn, but this knight is about to be lost. Or at least this knight cannot stay on this square to protect the pawn. So why not here, here, knight takes? Then we fork the queen, the bishop, and the rook. Seems pretty good. They would have to take. We take. And what would the material count be? Well, we take back the knight, so it would be even, and then we would win the exchange. Okay. What about just taking here immediately with the knight? They would just take back, and we could resign. Okay, so I do think it's that. Yep. Cool. Right, and we're just up the exchange. And also we have a very dominant position. Most likely they would just move their king into the corner, and this bishop is really, it's a problem because it's pinned. So, cool. Let's just do one more. Okay, 2 rooks. 1 queen each. They have an extra knight. Okay, so we're about to win either a lot of material or checkmate them. So, check. This knight is pinned, so can't take. The king would move here, or here, or here. What about just check? Like this. They would take back, and we just take the rook, because the knight's job is to defend the rook. Here, here, here. And now we are equal in material. We would each have a queen and a rook. Is that winning? Maybe, because of this pawn. Okay. Seems plausible. Yeah, maybe because of the pawn and this pawn that's kind of further advanced and the weak king position. But let's see if there's something better. So check here. Check here, here, here. Yeah, this might just be an equalization puzzle, right? Because right now black is, before this move, black is up at full knight, so winning. But now, after this move, we are now equal in material. And so, yeah, it may not be winning, but it's not losing anymore. Awesome. Cool. Wow. Yeah, these are kind of tricky puzzles for easiest category on Lichess, but whatever. What can you do?